is Bruce McCombs. Bruce will be speaking from the Professional Speaking Manual, speech number 3, sales training speech. The scenario is Bruce is training a sales organization. His title is Sales Navigation System. And we're going for a long ride here, 10 to 15 minutes, right? All right, let's give it up for Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. The sales navigation system is our metaphor for the sales process. What it tries to do is, within 4 to 12 steps, manage all the various politics that go on in a sales campaign. And today what we're going to talk about is how this sales navigation system works, the political effects, what makes the sales navigation system unique, and how it's going to help you win. So what's the similarity between a sales navigation system and a GPS in your car? Nobody? Well, a sales navigation system and a GPS use maps to help the user get to an agreed upon destination or objective, right? Where they differ is the sales navigation system enables the sales leader to answer this question. What steps do I have to go through in order to be able to close the business? And in that regard, this is what the sales navigation system looks like. The first step is the introduction. This is where you're going to qualify the deal. Do they have the need, the money, the authority to be able to buy your stuff? And if they do, you're going to go on to step number 2. And that's your survey. We're going to find out if our solution fits their requirements. And then if they do, you're going to go on to step number 3, which is the presentation step. And if they still like you after that, you're going to go to step number 4, which is the reference visit. They're always going to want to talk to one of your clients because they want to make sure you're telling the truth. And then step 5 is the negotiation step, and close is number 6. This is a fairly simple sales plan right here. Now, before we continue, I want to talk about these political agendas. In my chemistry days when I was in high school, I took the chemicals and I poured them into a vessel, and I would heat that vessel up, and those chemicals would change. It would be a different chemical makeup. Well, that reminds me of what happens in an organization when politics heats up. Politics can be things like, I want more money, I want to pad my resume, I want more power. And you also have competitive agendas that you have to contend with. And again, that's what the sales navigation system helps you manage. Because down here in the political agendas, it normally happens when you're about to make a decision. Why is that? There's business risk. A decision's about to be made, and that creates risk. If it goes well, the implementation of your solution, if it goes well, everything's fine. But if it goes poorly, your job could be on the line. Finances of the company could be on the line. One of the competitors I competed with, they took an enormous amount of time to be able to implement their solutions. And invariably, they would go beyond what they told the client in the contracting stage. And what happened? It went beyond that time frame, and people lost their jobs. The company sued the vendor for breach of contract. So these politics are very important to be able to manage. Now, great sales leaders use certain techniques in order to be able to do that. And one of those techniques is called power. In an organization, a person can have 0 to +5 power. A +5 would be a CEO of a company. A CFO would be a +4 power, or an accounting manager if it's a smaller company. And these stakeholders have preferences. You can see down here, you can have a -50 and be hostile toward your solution. Or they could be up here and trust you. And that is your task as the sales leader, to move somebody from a challenging position, which is a -30, all the way over here to trust. Now, these stakeholders, we take those values and we put them into another tool called a stakeholder analysis. You can see Smith, we've got 6 P's, by the way. We've got person, part, power, preference, pain, and plan. You can see Smith is a CEO, +5 power, 0 preference for your solution. And has also got a strategic pain. Jones, the VP of IT, has a +4 power and a -40 preference for you, for your solution, and has an operational pain. Cantrell loves you, +3 power, not a lot of power as the VP of accounting, but likes you a lot, probably is your coach, and also has an operational pain. So, what's the purpose of this? If your boss comes to you and says, are we winning or losing? You have something that you can show them. And I'm going to ask you, do you think we're winning or losing in this scenario?
Good place to start.
Good place to start. Well, we're actually losing. You have 0 preference by the CEO of your solution. You probably haven't met him or her. And you've got somebody here who's challenging you, opposing you. So let's take this framework that we've already established and let's put it into motion with an example. But before we do, for time constraints, let's talk about what the scenario, this is a real live example of what happened. Smith, who's the CEO, has been told by the parent company that they must be profitable within 2 years or they're going to get sold off. And so she's instructed Jones and Cantrell to replace the antiquated systems that they have. Financial, manufacturing, supply chain. And Jones is the PMO. PMO stands for Project Management Office. The entire evaluation goes up through Jones. And we're in step number 3 of the sales navigation system. So we're presenting. And one of the things we discovered in the survey step is that we have a complementary product that we can go to market with Smith's company. And it can create a lot of revenue for both organizations. And our CEO has scheduled a meeting with the CEO, with Smith. Now, one thing our coach told us, Cantrell, is we better have a really good reference because Smith is very risk averse. And so they need to have a reference that looks just like Smith's company. Antiquated systems, needs to be more profitable or they're going to get sold off. And finally, our differentiation, called RIP. And what is RIP? Well, because we can implement our solution faster than our competitor, we said that rapid implementation, faster to profitability, because that's what Smith has to accomplish in 2 years, right? And then the second P is partnering, because of this additional revenue that can be generated by these complementary products. So, what happened? We've already looked at Smith, CEO, +5 power, 0 preference. Got a pain here, a strategic pain, got to be profitable in 2 years. We got to change her preference. Jones, -40 preference, opposing us. Got to replace those systems. And what are we going to do? What's our strategy? We're going to flank. We're going to go around Jones because we can't, Jones is just not going to buy our solution, whatever we do. And Cantrell, we're going to support. So what happened? Over a 2-3 month period of time, what we did is we gave the references to Smith. Smith contacted the references. They turned out fabulous. And then we put together a go-to-market strategy for complementary products where they could earn millions of dollars, we could earn millions of dollars, and it just made sense. What did we do? We changed Smith's preference. But it took 3 months to do that. And we did it with RIP, rapid implementation, faster to profitability, and partnering. In closing, we talked about the sales navigation system. We've also talked about the political agendas and how important it is for the sales navigation system to manage those. We talked about what makes the sales navigation system unique, identifying power and preference, putting it into a stakeholder analysis. And we talked about how to win by changing preference. It's your choice. You can use 4 to 12 steps to win, or use no steps and lose. Mr. Toastmaster.